Hello, we are the Group 1 and this is our Bible Study 1 presentation. The two characters we have chosen from the Bible are Saint Thomas the Apostle and Abraham the Patriarch. Saint Thomas is one of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ. He was known for doubting that Jesus had risen from the dead, asking for signs to prove that this statement was indeed true, which is why he was given the nickname Doubting Thomas. Abraham is considered as the first patriarch introduced in the book of Genesis in the Bible. He was called by God to leave Haran, his hometown, to find the promised land that God said. In exchange for this, God said he will be a father of many children, even in his old age. Abraham and his wife, Sarah, doubted this because of their old age. But Abraham continued to follow God until he was given their first child, Isaac. God then decided to test Abraham's faith by telling him to bring his son to the land of Moriah as a burnt offering, in which he did. But God intervened and stopped him, and gave him a ram to sacrifice instead. This shows that Abraham's faith was so strong that he firmly believed that God wouldn't take his son at all. He trusted God and knew that if the sacrifice was done, he would raise his son back to life. Abraham then continued building a city in the Promised Land, still obeying God's commands with no questions asked. These descriptions indicate that even though they had doubts about God, with the many experiences they've gone through, their faith for God persevered and strengthened even more. Through this, we were able to say that they spent the moments of their life where they doubted their faith in God in the Individuative-Reflective Stage, which is the stage where people often question and become reluctant about several things about their faith. Saint Thomas answered the call of Jesus to join him as one of his disciples while still retaining his curiosity and reluctance even after the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. While Abraham was called by God to leave his hometown and find the promised land and to follow his orders, even if these orders made him feel unsure as to where it would lead him. This characteristic of St. Thomas and Abraham also reflect the paradoxical characteristics of faith they exhibit, which are certain yet obscure, and reasonable yet beyond natural reason. Somewhat similar to the concept of the Individuative-Reflective Stage, both of these characteristics talk about how we are prone to believe that science, logic, and natural reason can explain everything in the world, when in reality it cannot. This fits the personality of St. Thomas, especially in the book of John, chapter 20, verses 24 to 29, where he doubted what the other apostles said that Jesus had risen from the dead, while asking for the visual and physical proof of them. The way St. Thomas acted is exactly what certain yet obscure is all about, for his sight became clouded by what he deems impossible. This also applies to the case of Abraham in the book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 1 to 22, where God promises him that he will give his blessing to Sarah so that she may bear him a son, which Abraham doubted, since he did not believe that he and Sarah can have a son at their old age. Abraham must have felt that what God was telling him was only a make-believe which is in line with reasonable yet beyond natural reason. Both of us relate to St. Thomas and Abraham. Just like the other people, we are also very curious and we often want to question anything we cannot understand or find confusing. We both develop more of our logic and less of our faith as we grew up, which is why sometimes we cannot understand certain aspects of our religion. However, we eventually came to understand that not everything has and needs to be explained, since clarity can never really be fully achieved. We should instead allow faith to act as a compass to guide us in everything we do, which is further emphasized to us by St. Paul in Corinthians 2, chapter 5, verse 7. We walk by faith, not by sight.